ahead, save ahead. What's going on, Ryan?
Not much, just working
Yeah.
and stuff, trying to get the mental health fundraiser out is a big one. It's going through periods of stalling and then going. So
In the land of COVID, it's a tougher, I guess, to get the word out.
yeah, it is for sure. I think
Yeah.
people are just they're just done with social media. There's just so much out there. I think a lot of people are shutting it off, or they're just not seeing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I found that with it's because people, and I found this when I was doing the Defeat Depression fundraising for my walk on the 30th. It's you feel like, well, you need to do this and you really want to do this, but it's like, well, people are not really donating to anything right now because they don't know when their next paycheck is, and yeah, so it must be kind of tough.
Well, yeah, I mean, everything's a process, right? You can't
Yeah.
expect something just to take off immediately. And I find that as long as you're doing something for the right reasons, it's good and it brings good one way or another.
So you started with well, you were with Spark and you're busy with that. How did you get from Spark to starting to do this?
Well, I mean, Spark Real Estate's my brokerage that I started about a year ago. I've been in real estate for about 10 years, and um, when you in business in general, you find that there's a lot of people care about money a lot, and that's just normal. I mean, it is what it is, right? So I've been fortunate enough to work around in different areas and been at different other brokerages. And for me, I just wanted to start something where I could take business but still give back. That's the reason for the brokerage itself. But I've always been that way. I when it comes to the mental health side of it, um, I always find that one of the tools to make it better or to get through it is doing positive things and helping people. So that's just one of the tools I use to kind of keep myself level, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So were you doing anything before?
I used to be a bar and restaurant manager for years.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And for the mental health aspect of it, were you doing anything? Did Spark do anything before this? Were you donating to anything or?
No, not really. It's always been. Mental health is a funny thing. Everybody thinks that you have to nobody likes to talk about it.
Yeah.
People think that it means weakness when really it means the exact opposite. The people that deal with anxiety on a daily basis and still are successful and are productive are stronger than a lot of other people because they're dealing with a whole other side that they're still maintaining and doing good things.
And that's one thing I'd like to raise awareness about that, or just let people know that it's like, I personally think like my goal is to make sure that counseling and going to see a counselor is not like a swear word. It's not supposed to be a secret. That, I said this in the video that I sent you, that it's like, when I went, the first time I went and when I was 16 years old, my parents were like, shh, don't tell anyone. This is a secret because people will think you're crazy. And I had to make up an excuse why I was walking out of the hospital and my friends were picking me up. And, I ran out of body parts of checkups, every single week at the same time. So yeah, and it's 2020 and it's very odd that, that we still are kind of hidden about this, especially with like Bill Let's Talk and all these other organizations that are spreading awareness of it.
Yeah, it's definitely surprising that it's taken this long. I mean, I think there's been some really good leaps, but it's funny still there's a lot of people out there that deal with this on a regular. I think if it was a totally open thing, people would be very surprised with the amount of people that deal with it and struggle with it.
And then
I don't think it would be 10 or 20% of the population. I think it's probably going to be. I would bet that it's around 60 to 70%.
Oh yeah, I read some crazy numbers from 2000. I think it was 2017. I was doing research for my next episode of Rinse, and yeah, I forgot that. But yeah, it's like it's millions, man. It's crazy.
And that's
Um,
so amazing that that it's still kind of in the shadows and people don't want to talk about it, but there's so many people with it. Like it's the majority, especially. I mean, you put everything into it. You put financial stress. Well, I mean, COVID right now, but it just in general, without it, the financial stress. You put family stress and social media and expectations and people, you can't even voice yourself sometimes because you say one thing and then you get pounced on by all these other people. It's just it's nuts, and it just feeds into it. So if you're, you know, some people probably never realize they have it. You start dealing with this, and the more and more that comes on you, you start realizing, okay, there's something here that I'm not dealing with.
and I was listening. I was talking to my counselor actually last week, and she works at Daya Counselling here in London, and she was saying how they're thinking of opening up again to get one-on-one counseling in person, but get there'll be a shield around them, and they'll have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, what's the use? Like,
Well,
keep it virtual. I mean, I speak to her every Thursday evening, and the phone is fine with me. If I go there and there's a shield around me, there's literally a shield between our conversation, which wouldn't really be very open.
well, totally. And I think, I mean, that in itself, I mean, you put somebody who's anxious in a mask, and that's just gonna raise that feeling, I think, right?
Yeah,
You know, just you go outside and you're told you have to wear a mask. It's that just automatically creates some kind of anxiety.
yeah. Sorry, there's a fire truck happening around here. Hang on one second. Weird. Okay, so it's like a parade or something. That's crazy. It's like five of them. Um, so
That's not your building, is it? Because we can stop this if it is.
no, I was doing my washing. Maybe it's something like that. But you were sharing your story on your site saveahead.ca, and you were talking about your own anxiety, your own things. Did you go to counseling?
I have on and off through the years for sure. I There's a huge benefit to it. I always found that for me, it's it helps me when I find the tools that I can do on my own. Um, but it's come from those things. It's come from reading and talking to people that I think it's really important if you're feeling that way to get a handle on it, and figure out what you can do without other people to um, just to carry on. Because if you're, I mean, most people won't go to see a counselor every week for their entire life. At some point, something happens and they stop. A lot of people, right?
Yeah.
So have the stuff in place yourself, and recognize what helps you. It becomes more than manageable. It can actually I think that it can be turned into actually a very positive thing. Um, you can, like anything else that people perceive as negative, you can turn it into something very positive. So I mean, for me, it's like I know that um, you know I notice a massive, and I don't think people realize this. You know, and I would never stop. I would never tell people who are taking medication to stop. That's not what this is about. But the um, the things, from what I understand, the things that happen when you exercise is very similar to taking medication. So working out every day for half an hour can literally just lower your anxiety and stress all the time.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That's a big thing. Um, you know, it even lowers the physical manifestations. I mean, the stomach is a big thing. I carry a lot of stress in my stomach, so when I know, I feel it, I start getting stomach pains, and um, and that kind of thing. So working out every day really helps that a lot. They can legit take everything away. It just makes you way more clear. Finding things that you can do to do good for people is just, it's amazing. It can literally take it all away. So that's at least how it works for me. I can, it's way more manageable.
And have you found more stress levels now and anxiety with COVID?
Um, Surprisingly, not really. Um, when it came to like the business, for example, it's a new, like the business is a new business, so it would in theory be very susceptible to not making it through something like this, especially in real estate. We've done very, very well. Um, the people that work with me have done amazing. But it was one of those things that at the beginning, when this happened, I was like, okay, I can be worried about the business and it not making it. If this carries on for 6 months to a year and the real estate market crashes, you don't know what's going to happen. But at that, all I did was I said, all you can do is do anything you can to carry on. You have to like
Yeah.
adjusting, right? And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and then you've done everything you can, and that kind of gives you peace, right? You can only do what you can do, but if something doesn't work out, at least say you've done everything you can and feel comfortable with it, right?
Yeah.
So
There's a challenge going around now on social media. It's called "How Are You Really Doing?" and just focusing on how we've been, or how everyone has been choosing to use the positives in this, like how they've been working out, how they've been taking up. Oh, actually, a true story. I went to the dollar store over the weekend to pick up more canvas, and the canvas is sold out. And you know what? Instead of being bummed about it, I said, you know what? That's inspiring. At least people are painting now.
absolutely, it's been. I think if and I think in certain situations, looking at the positivity is almost like a survival mechanism because the thing, if you don't do that, you can fall down. I mean, in general, people can fall down a really bad hole, which has happened with this, which is really, really unfortunate. Financial, just the financial stress, people losing jobs, it's insane. It's I can't. I feel horrible for people that are going through really bad mental things right now.
Yeah. So with Shave Ahead, Save Ahead, is this going to be an ongoing thing, or?
I would like it to be. Yeah, I mean, we were gonna wait until we hit $5,000 in donations for to start getting the therapy sessions, just because then you're not really running out. But we actually have two available right now, so um, people can go on and book, and then it just they'll get an email with a code, and then they get like an hour session plus a month of text counseling as well.
So, and this is for raising money for people to get counseling. What are your thoughts about on the online counseling now, like BetterHelp and?
I think it's great. I mean, the because it allows for the opportunity for it to happen. I mean, if that didn't exist, there would be no opportunity at all right now with
Yeah.
people not with everything being shut down. I think it's a great thing. I mean, it might not be face to face, but like even our interaction right now, it's still meaningful and it still has an effect, right? Like, I mean, I think to me there isn't any difference because I'm not going to reach out and hold hands with my therapist with my counselor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I think it's just a matter. I think even if it's just on the phone, I think it's just a matter of having somebody that will talk to you without judging, because that's the big thing, right? Is being able to open up and not worrying that somebody's going to be thinking negatively about you or judging what you're saying.
Yeah, and right now while I'm with Dea, it's kind of like that. I just need to talk to someone, and I mean, it's one thing to have a good support group, which I do. I have many friends who listen to me on the daily and or hourly, and they've been all good. But sometimes you just need that stranger in a room, who can relate to you and also just, just listen and still diagnose it and see, okay, are you going into a hard time, or are these signs coming up that you might be going? See, what with me, every time I went to counseling was because I was getting further away from, be it my professional goal, my personal goal, or something. And I went to either liquor or drugs or something. And it was not until I hit rock bottom the first 2 times when I was like, okay, yeah, I need counseling. Every other time after that, I was further away from hitting that rock bottom because I saw where I was going. And I was like, okay, if I keep on going, in 2 weeks, I'm going to be literally on the floor picking up cocaine from, my carpet and crying and calling my friend in England. True story. So, yeah, I mean, it's, I think every single time I go to counseling, and I'm sure I'm going to go to counseling again a few other times in my life, uh, it's just like exercising, your muscles are just growing bigger and bigger and bigger slowly. Um, and you might not see it, right away, but, in 8 weeks or 3 weeks, you're like, yeah, I feel better.
Yeah, yeah. It's getting the tools is the thing I find is that they give you the tools and you can actually keep up with it on your own if you want to, but it doesn't. You always need to go back to that help. You like there's always people always slip. It's just I think human
Yeah.
nature. So I mean, you always need to go and get that reminder. I'm sorry that you go through that. That's I mean, but that's what I'm talking about. The strength is, I mean, you can recognize it, right? And that's what it's all about. It's recognizing um, when there's an issue, um, and that you need to get help, and that a lot of people can't do that, right? So I mean, people like I feel like you and I are lucky that way. We're able to like we're actually able, and maybe it's because we've tried to have we have the tools or whatever, but we can recognize it. It's almost like we have the two separate brains. We've got the one that can take you down a rabbit hole, and the other one that says, "Wait, this isn't real.
Yeah.
Whatever is real, and whatever you're feeling, it sucks right now, and you can get help, but it's imaginary. It doesn't. In the real world, it actually doesn't mean that. So that's I think that's a lot of people aren't lucky enough to have that one side that actually has that still rational side to them at that moment when they're in crisis.
Yeah, and even you said in the video you have on the site, where at that moment, and I feel like everyone feels this way too, it's like, oh, I'm going to die now. Like, the world is ending. And it's funny
Yeah.
because it's so true.
Oh, yeah. 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 That's it's true. I mean, that's yeah. It's and sometimes like the friends and the people around you, it's like, oh my gosh, Ryan, not again. Like you're fine. I know I'm fine, but really, like, what if? So but it's true though. I mean, you especially with the physical manifestations that comes with stress and anxiety, it's they mimic a lot of like horrible health problems. I mean, I don't know how many they actually, like, my doctor has told me, you're not, like, you're healthy, but an anxiety attack can mimic the exact feeling of a heart attack, right? Which doesn't
Yeah.
help when you're feeling it. So
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's so many times when I wrote an article recently about how it took me years to realize that when I was depressed, I was actually going to the bars with my depression and my friends were just tagging along. And that was like a aha moment when I came up with that sentence. And it was actually just a few weeks ago I came up with that. And I just had to write it. And I mean, all props to all of my friends who stayed with me and all that. But I would get there at 5 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, I was in the corner having a smoke and crying. And a lot of them were like, Shane, not again. You know, And I could see their frustration because they were trying to have a good time, but I was just, the party pooper and, just ruining the night for them. But, they still kept with me and, you know, they didn't even, I was talking about microdosing with you earlier on this week, where, you know, someone's in the room with you to help you with the journey and they don't control your journey.
Mm-hmm.
So with my friends, they helped me through the journey where it was like, okay, yeah, the world's not going to end, but I see where you're going and I see how you're feeling. Tell me more. And they didn't, I guess they didn't downplay it or they didn't say, Shane, you're just drunk or try to dismiss it.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny how you're talking about the crying because it's amazing how, like, just how it manifests in different people. I didn't see. I was never and I knew a lot of it came out emotionally that way. My emotion was anger, so it wasn't. That's when I was younger. It was. I see. For me, it's all. I think a lot of it's the way that people react is built around insecurity, because when you feel that way, like it can make you a very insecure person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was always it came out as anger. It was if I felt insecure, that was my thing, and I got mad, and I still have friends from back then, which I'm very very lucky for. But I mean, I never got physical or anything like that with anybody. That was never me. But just that was the only way that I knew how to release it. So um, the biggest thing was becoming secure in myself. Um, and
Yeah.
being happy and okay with and good with who I am, and that helped a lot. But yeah, the anger thing and was a big thing. And it's funny, I know some people that are very successful people, and it's the same thing. They have that anger, right? And it comes from similar areas. So I mean, when people want to actually um, get therapy and get help to help them realize that it's an amazing thing.
I remember in 2015, I had this one big meltdown, and I came home from a party, and the bar was my local was right across the street from me, and I came home, and all I remember was watching WWE Network classic Savage matches, and
Yeah.
next thing I knew, people were at my door, and my friends who were at the party were at the door saying, "Oh, what's going on, man? You just sent me a text saying you're taking pills," and they called the ambulance while they were on the way. And when they text me back, I didn't even read the text I apparently sent. They're like, "I'm coming over." I'm like, "Cool. Macho Man Steamboat WrestleMania 3 is right on now. I have beers. Let's go." After party. And I had no knowledge of it, right? So, um, and then like 90% of the people who got that text, I apparently sent it to a lot of people, were at the bar that night. And it was my local. And after I, kind of cleaned up and stuff and felt better, I just felt really embarrassed. And, and I called the bar. And for some reason, I thought I wouldn't be allowed back at the local. And I called the owner. I was like, "I'm thinking of coming by today. Are you okay with that?" And the owner's like, "Yeah, why not, man? I miss you." I'm like, "No, I just feel embarrassed. I don't know if that, impacted the bar." Or they're like, "No, you're stupid." you know? Um, but yeah, there is that insecurity where, you have these things and there's so, of course, and it took me years to figure this out. It's not all my fault. And even though it's those simple words, and Michael Landsberg always says this and preaches it, but it's for those who are going through it, it's really hard to understand that it's not your fault. And the insecurity shouldn't really be there. You should be able to be more open with it.
Oh, absolutely, and I agree. It's not it's no fault of the people that are struggling with it at all. I mean, it makes it almost it puts people into a different reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, so I mean, it's no different than people having, a sickness or a disease. It really is the same thing. Um, but because it's mental, people don't want to. People don't take it as seriously. They don't say, well, I mean, really, if you're having a bad mental day, it should be the same as calling to work if you have the flu.
Yeah.
But you know what's going to happen? You call in, oh, I've really got the flu, I can't come in. But really, it should be like, I'm feeling anxious and depressed today, I cannot come into work. It should be the same thing.
And my dad always said this to me, and we were talking about this a lot lately. It's that he always thought that he should, how everyone goes for a checkup every single year, have a head checkup. A checkup, he tags it. I don't know if it's trademark as in Phil Dunphy, but the checkup from the neck up.
Yep.
And I think we're going towards that direction, especially now with work areas who are now letting people have mental health days.
Oh, for sure, and you're right, and that's a great step. I think it's just unfortunate because there's not a lot of people that are going to actually use them.
Yeah.
But it's a good step, absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
So you have a GoFundMe page, and right now it's at $790.
It's at 790 right now. It stalled in the last few days, so I'm just trying to get some more donations. I've got some more posts that I have to put up. It's just life's been crazy busy, so just trying to do both. But I would really like for it to take off. Like if it was a continuous thing, that would be great. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I mean, we didn't want to give it like donate to the mental health society because you don't know what's going to happen with the money, right? This way, it's when you donate, it's $215 of donations are going to help one person for an entire month, like all of it. So it's really important that this takes off. I'm kind of me. I've never done anything like this before. So I'm still kind of navigating what works and what doesn't, and that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean,
yeah. I mean, I was talking to my counselor, Dea, and she was saying that the donations that are coming in from Defeat Depression are helping even, furnish their new offices and help with getting even masks and sanitizers. And not all goes to like actually getting the funding to get counseling, but it does help them do their job better and make the office pretty. And,
yeah.
So, and if anyone needs to, is in the house market in the Alberta, Calgary area.
Oh, no, don't do that. It's fine.
Okay, cool. All right.
But yeah, so anybody wants to, saveahead.ca, go on and donate, and or like I legit have 2 spots, and I'd really like to use them. Nobody's taken them up yet. So if anybody needs wants to talk to somebody, it's an hour counseling in a month of this text counseling, which apparently is working really well for people I've talked to. That would be awesome. You just sign up. It's all anonymous. Well, you have to sign up, but you'll know, like, it's all confidential.
Yeah.
Just get on and book your appointment. So that would be great. I mean, I would love to see how it worked, and if somebody could jump on and then do an anonymous testimonial for it that I can post, or just even some feedback would be great, because I don't know. I know it's going to work really well. I just haven't had anybody go through the process yet.
Okay, cool. And I've signed up for $2,000 to shave this.
Yes, $2,000. Yeah, we did really, really good quickly. So I just gotta start pushing again. The last week's been a little chaotic, so yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I know. Mine's already coming in. I'm just debating. I think I'm gonna keep it like this for a while. Getting older, I start worrying about my hair falling out, and it's coming. I mean, it's in the family. So this way, at least if it's like this, I don't really care.
Well, that was the plan for me forever. Well, 5, 6 years now. So the story is, since we're talking about shaving your head, I have 2 bald spots here and here, and always had them.
Yeah.
Always had long hair because I was just afraid of it. I was at a friend's house, 2004, and he asked me to shave his head. It was around 3 o'clock. Things were going around, drinks were being flown, and everything was gnarly between 2 friends. And so I went to the washroom, shaved his head. I sat down, looked at his head, looked at the TV, looked at him. I'm like, you know what? 2003, whatever. Let's shave my head. And he's like, what? Really? Are you going to shave your head for the first time ever? And he was so excited about it. He jumped up, grabbed his razor. We went to the washroom, and I was like cracking up. So that was the first time I ever shaved my head. And ever since then, I would do this thing where I would shave my head once a year and just get one haircut a year, just let it grow. And it's usually from May, June, I would shave it and usually let it grow until the next May or June or April. And so this year, I haven't shaved my head, I think, in 2 years. I've just been letting it grow. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. I love the first feeling you have when you all the hair is gone and you feel your neck again. And
I got really stressed out when I did it. I was, I had a drink first. So I was like, okay, let's do this, because that's not something I ever thought I would do. So, but yeah, I get it. It's when you don't have to worry about it, it's nice once you get used to it. So yeah, my bald spot always comes here. I pointed it out in the video. That's when I know I'm stressed out. I get my bald spot in my beard. It takes like 6 months to come back usually.
Oh,
so.
really?
It'll come back and then it'll go again. I used to use my girlfriend's eyeliner to cover it up, and then after, this time, whatever.
All right, my friend Ryan, thank you so much. And saveahead.ca. You can go to and you can get to the GoFundMe page from there and the donate button.
And if you want to talk to somebody, just go on and book an appointment, and then let me know how it goes if you feel comfortable.
Cool. All right, thanks, my friend.
Thank you.